Hello, my name's Michael, and this is All Departments.
Here come the cherries, and we're heading for the top of the tree. Bournemouth is a team that's going to show Division 3. Here come the leaders and the scorers at the Saturday, showing how to win the Southern way. So we sing, come on Bournemouth, come on Bournemouth. While you're out there winning, hear the shouting and the singing. We sing, come on Bournemouth, come on Bournemouth. Here come the cherries, here come the cherries, here come the cherries, number one.
Hello and welcome to All Departments. On Thursday the 9th of June, I made the short journey to the Eastcliff Hotel in Bournemouth and squeezed myself into a room packed with fellow members of the Cherry Nation to spend an evening with Paul Morrell. In my formative years as a Bournemouth fan, Paul appeared to be a permanent fixture at left-back in Harry Redknapp's starting 11, and indeed, a quick check of the statistics shows that he played over 400 games in his 10 years at Dean Court. Paul is joined on stage by compere Dave Fitzgerald, and Fitz was kind enough to invite me to record their chat for All Departments. This is part one, where Paul talks about not just his life as a footballer making his way in the game, but also his days as a young man in the company of other young men, some of whom you may have heard of.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, we should have done this night long before, but we're doing it now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Morrell! Thank you. So, Mozzie, I guess the first thing to ask you is the biggest game of all. Fulham, Bournemouth, 4th of May 1987. Tell us about it.
Well, what can I say? It was absolutely a momentous day for the club. My recollection of the day was travelling up the motorway, heading towards Fleet, and just seeing, like it is now with the supporters that travel away with Bournemouth now, just red and white everywhere. We pulled into Fleet to stop for a cup of tea. You know how times have changed. We sort of went up on the day. We pulled in, nobody recognised us. We sort of went, right, that's yes, it's the team. Anyway, got to the game and it was absolutely fantastic. We took 4,500, 5,000 up there. A blustery old day at Fulham, and well, the rest is history. What a day that was. I don't remember much coming home. I've got a cookie to refer to this. Jimmy Hill said to Harry, fill your coach up with whatever you want from the bar. Well, we did. And the trip home was the quickest I've ever envisaged ever from London. We pushed Harry off at Verwood. Well, he fell off the coach at Verwood. And it was just an absolutely fantastic day for the club. You know, the first time we'd gone up to the old, was it second division as they call it now, the championship. And it's something that many people were saying they wouldn't achieve, and we did.
Yeah, and there was some talk at the time, I know, in terms of, did Bournemouth really want it? Did we really want that promotion? But we did, right?
Well, if you tell the players that played that season, did we want promotion, then they were always, people would sort of come around and say, oh no, Bournemouth don't want this, we're a small club, the town don't want it, the players don't want it. Well, I'm sorry, you don't tell people like Willow, Cookie, myself, Whitlock, Paynton, Driscoll, that we don't want it. We wanted it badly, and we proved, our, doubters wrong.
Absolutely, round of applause for that, please. So, you retired over 20 years ago, or certainly finished playing for Bournemouth over 20 years ago. We've said enough times tonight, and we'll keep saying it tonight because it needs to be said, a club legend. We had a chat 2 or 3 years ago about doing a night like this, and we've got round to it now. But, you've been retired a long time. Why now? Why do this now?
Several reasons, really. I think One was obviously travelling away with Bournemouth this season and last season, home, a few away games, most of the home games, and the buzz that was around the club. I just thought, well, hold up, we don't want to forget the past. And and when I was travelling away with the supporters, I was telling stories on the coaches, the trains, and I appreciate now what supporters go through to get to games. The money it costs them, the time it costs them, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And I applaud you all who've watched us over the seasons. I've got to be honest with you, fantastic. So yes, I was telling you stories, and I think Pat said to me, you just see people light up when I tell my stories. So here we are, and let's hope you have a good night.
It's like you say. I mean, you're very active on social media, and we always see you travelling home and away, and you interviewed when we had the celebration party on I think local news or whatever it was. So you've always had that real connection with the fans. What sort of connection do you feel you had, like when you were playing? Anything sort of happened, sort of banter while you're on the pitch and that sort of thing?
I was always banter on the pitch.
Anything really stand out?
I suppose one story. It was Christmas. I think it was New Year's Eve. Obviously, we're not allowed out on the lash. As you all know, we're all locked away in our rooms, and we were at a home game. And anyway, we had a sort of a family party around someone's house, and I thought, well, I won't get caught there. I'll just go for until 12 o'clock, And it's a fancy dress party, so I go as Superman. Now you've seen Fools and Horses, haven't you? Well, the sketch of Batman and Robin. So I'm dressed as Superman, go to the party, Auld Lang Syne. Right, got to go home now, got a game tomorrow. Didn't really drink a lot, honestly. So anyway, now I've got to get home. So it's not far from my house, so I'm running through the streets in me red pants, blah, 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 cape flowing. Anyway, where I lived in Winton, there was a Labour club on the corner, and I was stuck in this shop corner, and I'm thinking, they're all kicking out now, I've got to get across to my house, and they all know me here. I thought, what am I going to do? So anyway, I waited in the corner until there was a lull in the people coming out. Next thing, I sprint across the road, and as I'm sprinting, some geezers come up and say, "All right, Mozzie, what are you up to?" I said, "I don't drink and fly." As I ran in the house, straight up to bed, took my pants off, my blue ones eventually, and
over those thighs,
over the thighs, and all I get shouted up the window, "Good luck tomorrow, Superman." I'm like, yeah, see you tomorrow. Well, next day I'm sort of out warming up. I'm out on the pitch. I think at Plymouth Argyle, I think we played at home. And I'm doing my stretches as you do. Not like the warm-ups they do now. They absolutely knackered me watching the warm-ups now. I couldn't do that. No, we were posing. Not when we cook it, we used to pose. You used to sit in front of the crowd, a few stretches. And this voice said, "Mozzie, I didn't recognise you had your pants on." To which I just went...
So, like you say, obviously a huge success story at Bournemouth. And in the last 2 or 3 years, or I'd say 2 or 3 years particularly, but particularly the last 7 or 8 years, under Eddie Howe. What's your take on it? Why have we been so successful in recent years?
I think you just said it, Eddie Howe. I think he's an absolute legend. And there you are, legend. I just think he's built a side very much on the same ethics as us, really, when we won the league. He's got a group of players together that seem to want to play for him, the same as when we played for Harry. We wanted to play for the man. The respect is there, you can see that, and he manages it in such a professional way. I never see him slag any players off. We're not...
That's it now, I think.
Eddie will be there, yeah. I'll try and be fit for next season. It's going to take a while. But I just think that the ethics that he brings to the club and to the players and the way he plays football is, absolutely fantastic. No matter whether they're losing, he never changed that philosophy of playing football. And, I've got a lot of time for Eddie Howe and Jason and the players that have played this season. I think they've done an absolutely terrific job.
Excellent. Yeah, well done. So let's go back to the very beginning then, Mozzie. How did your career start as a youngster from schoolboy onwards?
Well, my mum and dad, first of all, they produced me. No, how did it all start? Even from an early age of 3, I was out playing football with my father. You know, my father passed away last year, and that's another reason why I've done this night tonight. My brothers are here today, Pete and Gareth. My dad was a massive part of my career, and he was in the background, but he always sort of supported me, and I respected that. And so yes, I was out playing football with him at 3 years old, kicking a ball, and people used to say he's going to be a good player. I don't know what went wrong. And then as it progressed, I used to, my cousin Alan's here, and we used to go off down Heatherland School and at like 8 and 9 year olds and play on Heatherland School. And my Uncle Rob, he was brilliant. He used to take me down there, he used to kick the ball with me and keep me up, you name it. He really did sort of drive me on. And then he went missing. And I said to him, "Where's my Uncle Rob?" And he's gone away for a while. Well, later did I know that the HMP on the letter he sent me. Yes, he'd gone away for a while, so bless him. But he was another part of my football upbringing. And then obviously progressed through the youth levels, county, town, Poole Town Football Club. Signed at Poole Town at 14, played 14, 15 I signed at Poole Town. I had to get permission from the headmaster at St Joseph's School to play semi-professional football for Poole Town. I had my debut at 16 for Poole Town Football Club, had a few good seasons there, and then obviously went to Bath City for £5,000. And then from Bath City, had a couple of seasons at Bath, and obviously then signed for Weymouth.
And is there any sort of advice that you had from like coaches and mentors at the time that really stands out?
I think over the early years, I mean, people like Roger Brown at Poole Town, Bob Boyd at Bath City, obviously Stuart Morgan, who later became an assistant manager at AFC Bournemouth, all helped in my career, and brought me on to the standard I sort of produced in my professional career.
Excellent. And when did you first come to the attention of Bournemouth? Because I think you actually fully signed some years after you actually came to their attention, so to speak. Yeah, I was
14, I think it was, and Reg Torrell, he was the scout at AFC Bournemouth, then spotted me, and he said to me he wanted me to play in the youth game. I think the first team were playing Dorchester Town, and they said, the youth team were playing first, we want you to come along. Anyway, that was my first experience of sitting on a coach with first team players, of people like McDo, Boyer, when you name it. It was just scary. They were all stripped off, playing cards. You were a young lad going up, to play a game at Dorchester. Anyway, cut long story short, I played, and I thought they wanted to offer me an apprenticeship, and I said, no, I think I want to get a trade behind me. So that's the way I went. But in between all that, I went to Wolves with Phil Ferns. I don't know if you remember Phil Ferns, left back, and we both went up to Wolves. And anyway, I did really well up there, and they wanted to sign me. And I liked the club at the time, and I thought, yeah, this is a good move for me. I'm going to go. And then what happened? I got back and they said they were going to sign me, and Sammy Chung was the manager. I don't remember Sammy Chung. Huh?
He was at Wolves, wasn't he?
Correct. And Sammy Chung got the sack, and that was the end of that. From there, I went up to Aston Villa. Didn't really get on very well at Villa. Didn't make me feel very welcome up there. They made me play in an under 10s game, or some under 12 game, and I was like 16, and no, I didn't feel very welcome up there, and I decided, they said I wasn't good enough, basically. Took me to one side and said, no, you're not good enough. And I said, fair enough, I'm going home. And then back to Bournemouth. And then I ended up at Bristol Rovers. I went to Bristol Rovers for a game. And again, I thought, no, I don't really want to get into football. I want to get a trade behind me. And that's where I went down that route. My father, I sat with him, he said, you do what you've got to do. And I said, I think I'm going to be a chippy. And he said, you hate woodwork. And I went, well, I said, I've been off an apprenticeship at Cooper and Rowe, up in Wallasdale. And I've got one of my colleagues here who's a machinist up there. He's still got his fingers, by the way, which is lucky. But yeah, so I did an apprenticeship, and that's the way I went.
Excellent. And obviously, start of your career really looking at Weymouth. Tell us about those days. I know you managed to get yourself on national TV without kicking a ball.
Yeah, I can tell you a few stories about Weymouth. We've got PJ here today. Where's PJ?
He's at the bus stop where he was.
Where is he? Is he not here? He's gone. Hello, PJ. You right? I signed for Weymouth, and I've got to tell you the story. And I turned up at the changing room and met the lads, and in walked PJ in a green velvet jacket and a medallion. And I just went, what the is that? And he went, Mozzie, put your league games on the table, mate. I played for the Palace. And I always remember that. And all the lads would go, shut up, Pete, for God's sake. Remember that, Pete? Good, got your back. Panathinaikos, absolutely. But yeah, had some great times at Weymouth.
So tell us about Football Focus.
Yeah, we were top of the league at the time, and we had a top of the table clash at I think it was Maidstone. I think the second in the league, and basically what happened, the directors decided to drop all our bonuses, all our travelling expenses, and of course that's a breach of contract, so we refused to play. We were just playing this big game. It was a top of the table clash. We were top anyway. So Stuart Morgan said, what do you mean you're going to go on strike? So we went on strike, and he called a meeting at the Bear Cross. And of course, a lot of the Bournemouth boys, or the Weymouth boys, were living in Bournemouth. People like Kieran Baker, Tommy Patterson, Trevor Finnegan, blah, 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 could go on and on. There's about 10 of us that lived in Bournemouth. So we met at the Bear Cross, and we said to Stuart, no, we're not playing. We're not turning up tomorrow. So when you come to pick us up at the pub in Fernham, we won't be there. He said, all right, I'll go and tell the board that. So he went back, told the board. The board said, yeah, don't be stupid. The coach come up the next day, pulled in at the old pub. Stuart said, I told you, they're not here. He said, yeah, they're in the bushes. They're hiding in the bushes. They're not here. And we weren't there. We went on strike. Of course, we hit the news, didn't we? We got docked 10 points. And of course, it was national news. Weymouth were on strike. Weymouth players on strike. And I think I went up to your place, I think, and we were up there, and we had a home game, I think, the following week, and I sort of just went for a bit of R&R at Debs, some friends of ours in Guildford, just waiting for the call to see if we were playing on Saturday, and it didn't arrive until Friday, when they said, the board had said they've reinstated your travelling expenses, so we played the game at home, and of course we won. And all I can remember is we scored a goal. The directors, I don't know if you remember the old racket, the directors used to sit up the top. And we scored the goal, and just all the players ran up there and just like waved at the directors. And I still remember their faces now, that was my recollection of that.
Brilliant. And obviously a young man there, and for want of a better expression, filling your boots. And I understand you even had some groupies clambering across the rooftops to try and get to you in those days.
See, with Weymouth, it's everywhere you went was sort of overnight stops, and it was quite a big club, Weymouth. Then it was a big club, and we used to, stay over in hotels, and we used to stay at Lymm in Cheshire, lovely hotel, beautiful, pub up the road. Now Stuart Morgan was brilliant. He used to say, you have your meal. He said you can go out and have a couple of pints, which we did religiously. We stopped at a couple. Anyway, so we're up there and we're talking to these girls and said, where are you? Well, we're down at the Lymm. Oh, can we come back? No, not really, got games tomorrow. So anyway, we're in our room, and next to our room is Jerry Payton and Gary Borthwick, and I'm in with Bill Elliott, remember Bill? And next thing, I look at the window, and I my Jerry Pearson shouting out, look out the window, Moz. There's these two girls going along the scaffolding outside our windows. So they're coming to, and they're knocking on our window and say, can we come in? He said, no, you can't come in, we've got a game. So they turned around and went off down the scaffolding. And that is a true story. But my colleague next door said, you can come in our room. So,
So Weymouth, obviously great days. They're moving on to Bournemouth. Interesting trial in between, though.
Oh, obviously, yeah. I think I'd had 2 good seasons at Weymouth, and then they mucked my contract up. Again, they dropped the bonuses. So that got me away on a free transfer, which Stuart Morgan was really upset about. And anyway, so I was a free agent, technically. So they mucked it up. I could get away now to any club I wanted to. And Dave Bassett phoned me up at Wimbledon. And he said, come and have a chat with us. And we went up to Debbie's again, stayed up there, met Dave Bassett in the pub. And he said, all right, Moz. He said, how are you doing? He said, yeah, fine. He said, how far can you kick the ball? I said, well, how far do you want me to kick the ball? He said, well, I think you'll be good for us. He said, you've got a long throw, you've got a good left foot. I said, you're fitting brilliant up here with a crazy game. And I said, yeah, I probably would. I said, yeah. He said, right, I want you to come on tour with us. We thrashed out the contract, and I like what you had to say. I quite fancied the crazy game, as it was known there, Fash and all the boys, Wisey. So yeah, I was going on tour to Iceland.
So what division were they in then? Were they in the 4th tier?
I think they're in the 4th tier, I think. Yeah, same as Bournemouth, I think, it's whole third or 4th tier. Anyway, so yeah, I quite liked that. I said, give me a couple of days to think it over. So I go back to Bournemouth. I went back to Debbie's first, had a few drinks, then back to Bournemouth eventually, and I mulled it over. Anyway, when I got back, Stuart Morgan was on my door. And I said, what's up, Stuart? He said, I want you to stay at Weymouth. He said, what, you know, we've mucked up, I know, and I want you to stay at Weymouth. I said, no, I'm ready now for league football, and I need to get away. And he shook my hand, he said, fair enough, yeah, you're ready for it. And he said, I'm really sorry the way it's gone. And that was it, really, and he left. So basically the next couple of days, I was sort of thinking over the move, and next thing, another phone call, Harry Redknapp. I said, all right, H. He said, all right, Moss. He said, you want to come over and have a chat with us? I went, no, I'm signing for Wimbledon. He said, no, you're not signing for them, yet. I said, no. He said, come and have a chat with us. He said, you don't want to go to Wimbledon. So I said, all right, I'll come and have a chat with you tomorrow anyway. So he turns up at Bournemouth and he sits down, you know, Harry's like quite persuasive. So I sat with him, he said, you know, you're a local lad, you want to play for your local club and all that. Anyway, I thought, he said, what have they offered you? And I said, oh, I'll tell you. He said, what are you going to offer me? Anyway, you know what Harry's like, we'd been dealing. We'd done a deal, and I said, yeah, I quite like the sound of it. He persuaded me like he does, and the rest was history, really. I phoned Dave Bassett up and I said, I'm going to sign for Bournemouth, and he said, well, you're making a mistake there, mate. But I wish you all the best. And I said, well, we'll see. Did I make the right wicket? No, not really, honestly. Only the fact that they went right through the leagues to the Premier League and the FA Cup. But, you know, I'd never sort of knocked my time at AFC Bournemouth.
So early days of AFC Bournemouth, first season. Chris Sully's the left back. I guess you're his understudy. But just tell us about that first season or two at Bournemouth.
When I signed, I just got married actually, and they gave me a couple of weeks off from pre-season training to obviously go on a honeymoon. Obviously, when I came back, the first person I saw was John Beck. And I remember pulling up in the car park at the old Dean Court, and John Beck was there, and he come up to me, shook me hand, and said, welcome to the club, Mozzie. I'm going to give you a bit of advice. I thought, okay, yeah, no problem. He said, bear this in mind, he said, football career is really short, so make the most of every minute. And at the time I thought, yeah, all right, you know, I'm 21 years old, and I thought, yeah. But when I look back now, what a great piece of advice, and I was giving it to players when I left. The same advice is that it is a short career, and you've got to cherish every moment when you play, because it is soon over.
The club at the time is obviously it's struggling, right? So sort of down in the sort of lower end of the table, change of manager at the time as well. How much of a struggle really was it in those days? So as a first-year professional as well, first couple of years.
Yeah, it's a struggle. I mean, you think you're a quality player and you think you're fit, but you don't realise that the fitness levels in pro football is totally different to non-league. And it took me a while to adjust to the fitness levels and getting used to the full-time training. Also, I found Don Mixon, who was the manager. It wasn't Harry was the manager. Harry recommended me to Don Mixon, who, when I went for the talks with Bournemouth, Don Mixon went, I don't know who you are, but, welcome to the club, which I thought was, quite, naughty really, but that was, Don Mixon was a strange character. I mean, we used to train at Ferndown and he used to be walking in the bushes. We'd be out, like, running around, and I said, what's he doing? He said, just see his head popping out from the bushes. Well, obviously, he didn't last long, so he got the sack, I think he resigned, and I think Harry then took over.
Excellent. And obviously in those first couple of years, particularly in the FA Cup, in the Cup, the Cup in those sort of seasons, or that one season, you had sort of bittersweet memories of that. Obviously the FA Cup and then the associate members. Yeah. I mean, it was a difficult start for me, obviously the debut, and then sort of trying to break into the side. Obviously Chris Tully was the left back then, well-established left back, a terrific player. And obviously they started to plug me as a left midfield player wearing the number 11 shirt. A bit out of my comfort zone, but eventually I got my stride and I sort of played left midfield and see where Harry wanted me to go and how he wanted me to progress. It was a difficult time. All I can remember sometimes is the cushions. Now, I don't know if you remember the cushions going on the bench. Now, I remember going as a kid and watching and being given these cushions to sit on, but I never had the experience of them being thrown at you. And I've had a few of them, not me personally, but the team. We've had some nightmare games up there, and yes, the famous cushions. But you didn't get to actually play in the Manchester United game, the one you won in 80.
Yeah, I mean,
84.
The first one I didn't actually. I missed the first Man United game. I got injured the week before. I'd done my ankle in. And we went off to Jersey on a tour. Harry took us out of Jersey just prior to the Man United game at home. And out in Jersey, I think Keith Williams might remember this. Was you there, Keith? Yeah. Well, Keith was out playing. He gave us a day off, and Keith and the boys were not bad at snooker. Him and Tommy F. Absolute brilliant snooker. We went to the snooker hall, and they were shafting these two blokes in there because they were like 50, 60 break merchants. And they set them up a bit, and they ripped off these two lads at the snooker club, didn't you, Keith? Do you remember that one? Well, you beat after really sucking them in, and obviously we had to get out of the old snooker club very quickly. But all I can remember is like we're back at the hotel the next day waiting to go to training, and Kirky's coming around, John Kirk, bless him. He'd come and said, training's delayed. I said, what's up? 3 lads have gone through a shop window. I said, what do you mean 3 lads have gone through a shop window? Trevor Morgan, Milton Graham and Phil Bricknell walking along the street drunk, poking each other in the eyes. God knows why, as you do. Missed each other, grabbed each other straight through an off-licensed shop window. They'd done a runner. Anyway, so Harry's gone. He's at the police station trying to bail him out. So we're waiting around thinking, oh God, this is going to be murder now. So we're waiting around the hotel, hour and a half, 2 hours. In the end, Harry comes in. And he said, out on the pitch now, all of you. I said, where's the 3 lads? He said, they'll be here in a minute. He had to bribe the authorities to get them out of nick. Anyway, to stay on the island. They wanted to deport us, basically. They wanted us off the island. But anyway, Harry smoothed it over like he does, a bit of a wheeling and dealing. Anyway, we went out training. I've never worked so hard in my life. He had us up and down, 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s. And I killed the 3 lads afterwards. They were a bit sheepish, but it was a hard training session, that's all I would say.
And was the island tour around about that time, or was that a bit later?
Well, we came back, and obviously, I got injured, so we came back to play Man United.
Yeah.
And it was a real big disappointment, really, for me. I'd been playing up until then, got injured, and hadn't trained much during the week. And it came to the Saturday, and the team was read out, and I wasn't even in the squad. Obviously, for someone that wanted to play against United at Dean Court, it was a big disappointment for me. They went on to beat Man United, which was an absolutely terrific result. Milton Graham and Tomo.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a disappointing time, especially when you're watching from the sidelines. But I was so chuffed for the lads. Luckily, I had another crack at them later on.
Cool. But ended well in terms of the associate members.
Yeah, that season we got to the final of the Associate Members Cup, and normally the final's been played at Wembley. Well, lo and behold, they had the Horse of the Year show at Wembley and cut the pitch up. So Harry's come in and said they've got a toss, home or away, either Hull away or our place. Of course, we lost the toss and had to go right up to Hull. So it was a bit of a trek for our supporters, but in the end, a very lucrative one. We actually won the cup. We went 1-0 down. Milton Graham equalised, and then I come up with a header on the far post for the winner to win one of our first trophies.
Okay, cool. Yeah, round of applause for that. Was against the winner again?
We'll come up with nose.
Well, I like the stats and the detail, but I want to hear about the tours, Mozzie. I want to hear about the tours. So you've had some very interesting tours, like I said before, Ireland and Portugal, loads of stories.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth were going through a bit of a turmoil. I think the club didn't know if it was going to be sold or not. We went off to tour to Ireland, which was great for Tommy Efferman. He loved Ireland, and he knew all the places to go as well. But I remember turning up at the hotel, and it was race week. Obviously, Harry done brilliant, didn't he? Race week. He loves his horse racing. So we get to the hotel and check in, and I go up to my room, sort of get in my room, and there's a body in my bed. There's this bloke sick all over the floor. So I back downstairs and I said, Harry, there's someone in my bed. And he said, we don't normally moan about that. Anyway, the staff went up, and yes, it was someone had been up there and ain't got out, and they forgot he was even in there. Luckily he was alive, and anyway, the tour went on. And then obviously went off to Germany that season. We had a tour of Germany. It was an interesting tour. Especially, going to the mayor's parlour thing afterwards, and you sat there with all the Germans, and you can imagine some of the comments around there. Don't mention the war. But it was an interesting tour. There wasn't much that happened on that tour. I've got to be honest with you. Only that we had tickets to go and watch Clannad. Now, I quite like Clannad. I'm sadly have to say I'm quite a Clannad freak. And of course, the lads are going, we've got free tickets to Clannad. What? We're going down the pub. I'm going to go watch Clannad. I want to go and watch them. Enya and all the, yeah. So I go off and I'm sitting in there, and I brought a few boys along, looked around, they're gone. First song, they're out. So I'm sat there watching Clannad on my own. Didn't last long though, because I felt a bit lonely, so I met boys down the pub.
So obviously continue with tours generally as well. Portugal, you got Willow going in Portugal, didn't you?
Oh, well, yeah. The Portugal trip was very interesting. Again, it was a pre-season tour. We went off, there was ourselves, Orient, Brentford and Brighton, I believe, sort of into tournament with 4 Portuguese sides, and we were out there, boiling hot, just outside Lisbon. First game we drew 1-1. Harry said no drinking, so fair enough, we abided by that rule. We did. We abided by that rule, no drinking. The second game we won 4-1. Harry, a bit more light, said, right, you can have a beer now. So, Cookie, myself, Sean Close, Bish and Willow and Mark Newson went off down the local bar, and Harry and Jimmy Gable and the other managers were in the bar with us, and they were sort of having a table over there, and we were at the bar, and it was all a bit subdued, and we were just having a couple of pints. So we were in the bar, and then Harry and Jimmy Gable and that left, and so we were left on our own. So then the game started, the spoof. We're playing spoof, and we are knocking them back left, right and centre. We were legless. I mean, legless. So we're walking along this long street back to the hotel, and Willow was about 10-15 yards in front of us. Cookie looks up and said, let's strip Willow off. I said, not a bad idea, lads. So off we go, jump on Willow, strip him off to his underpants, and now he's walking through the street in a pair of underpants, no shoes, holding his knackers, Well, you know what Willow was like. He's a bit slimmer then, mind you. So he's about 100 yards in front of us, and he's round the corner to the hotel, and we're behind all, laughing and going. So we pull round the corner to the hotel, only to see clothes coming out the top of the windows, suitcases. Willow's only got our keys for our rooms, gone in, got our clothes, and thrown them out the window. The passports. So we're going, oh, for God's sake. And then you hear Harry's voice. What's going on here? Me and Mark Newson, he didn't get to our room. Our key was still in the reception. So me and Mark Newson, we ran up the stairs to the room, got in our room and just snuggled up together in bed. And then, like, 10 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. Mozzie, Noose, open your door. Shh, we're cutting each other now. Cut. You go away a minute. Mozzie, open your door. And then he sort of goes to the next door. Bish, Willow, open your door. Door opens. Bish, what's that, H? He said, you're on the next flight home. You're going home. Then out of the blue, someone starts shouting out, off, Harry! And we're in Lucia's sort of in the room going, who the flipping hell saying that? Like, so we're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be in trouble here. True story. So anyway, it all goes quiet and the door shut, we go to bed. 8 o'clock in the morning. John Kirk, meeting, 9 o'clock, downstairs. Oh God, so me and Luce get out of bed, shower, we put the old sunglasses on, got a bit of hangover. So we're all downstairs in the old reception area, and Harry comes in, Jimmy Gabriel, Brian Tyler, God bless his soul, sat there, and Harry goes into one. He said, I want to see the 6 lads that were involved in that shenanigans last night. You nearly got us kicked out of the hotel. I said, I'll start with Mozzie. So the rest of them all walk out, so I'm sat in the room, take their sunglasses off, he went. So he said, what do you think you are, big time Charlie? That's it, he said, I'm finding you a week's wages. A week's wages. I said, all right, H, no problem. He said, get your act together, get out. So off I went. As I walked back, week's wages, boys. So in walked Noose, same. Willow, same. He calls Cookie and Sean Close in together. So they sat there and goes, and what are you two drinking with them for? And yeah, you're right, H. Well, I don't know why we're drinking this. And he went, they are Premier League drinkers to you. You are non-league drinkers. Week's wages. So they went out. Anyway, we went training, didn't we? And we're running around. I was boiling hot day, and now me, Willow, Noose, and Bish, we could train. We were fine. We could do the training afterwards. We're running around the park, like, and it's boiling hot day, and doing all increasing demands, and Cookie closely in the bushes puking up. I said, told you, non-league. The worst thing was, we ended up doing stomachs, and next thing he's going at 19, 20, and he went, Closey, Cookie, you've only done 18, round you go again. And they went, oh God, they were white. Never again, Cookie, was it?
So I do know, Harry says it enough that, you know, you were in trouble plenty, but was that the occasion where you had to sort of take drastic action and go and find somewhere discreet to have a drink?
Well, yeah, we had the meeting and there was no alcohol then, so we abided by it, and we were dropped for the next game, obviously. Anyway, we had the afternoon off, and we were on Estoril Beach. The boys were laying there on the old sunbeds, and along Estoril Beach is walking Harry, Brian, Tyler, and one of their coaches, and he sees us, and we're all on the old sunbeds sunbathing, and he walks past Harry, just gives us a right glare. Didn't need to say anything. You know what Harry's like when he glares at you? He just gave you a glare. So he walked on by, and old Brian Tyler, bless him, said, good luck with your new clubs, boys. Anyway, so we're all laying on the old sunbeds, like, and this is true again, like, we're all laying there, and Noose looks at me, and I look at Noose, Willow looks across, and we give it the old licking our lips and go, that's the sign, let's go and find a bar. So anyway, we get in this taxi, and we say, take us to the quietest street in Lisbon, back street, anywhere. So we want you to carry a tape around us. Curiosity killed the cat. Absolutely brilliant tape. Remember? gave it to a taxi driver, he puts it in, and we're playing, we're giving it loads in the taxi, you know. Anyway, he takes us all around Lisbon, and we end up in this back street, like a brothel. I mean, it was, well, I can't even tell you what it was like, it was awful. So the five of us are all there, sat in there, aren't we, with, in this bar, outside, it was lovely, you know, we thought we're not going to get found out here. So ordering a Matthias Rosé, as you do, the Matthias. So we're all having a little drink. Then we clocked 5 blokes walking down with Bournemouth scarves on. Only 5 supporters walking down towards her like, Mozzie! Luke Swillow! Cookie! Come and join us, we'll get your tickets for the next game, just shut your mouth.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll end it there for the first half. We're going to go into the promotion season and loads more stories like that for the second half. But for now, one more time, Paul Morrell.
Boss scum, back of the net. 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 Boss scum, back of the net.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Paul and Fitz there. As I said, that was part 1 of their chat at the Eastcliff Hotel, and I'll be releasing part 2 as soon as I've had a chance to give it a cursory edit, so hopefully that'll be available shortly. In the meantime, enjoy the occasional sunny days of summer. I'm off to renew my season ticket, so up the cherries in all departments, and goodbye!